Have you ever participated in one of those fun icebreaker question activities where everyone takes turns sharing about their favorite ice cream or dream car or what kind of animal they most relate to? I was once asked a very edgy question in one of those icebreaker conversations. The question was so controversial and off-putting that I actually hesitated to answer. It was a question I never knew I was even allowed to be asked. I really resisted answering the question at first, having a small audience of peers before me waiting for my daring response. And I thought maybe I was taking the question a little too seriously. After all, it's just a silly icebreaker conversation, and my shyness was holding up the line. On the other hand, I couldn't imagine my audience was in any kind of hurry to give their own answers. So I went for it. And as I answered the very personal question, I found myself feeling more and more liberated and inspired as the words poured out of my mouth. Strangely, once I started talking, I couldn't stop. And what's even more surprising is that the more I spoke, the more I lit up. And the more lit up my audience became as well. I could see them getting inspired as they began orchestrating their own answers in their mind. Well, sometime later, I had the opportunity to create my own icebreaker activity for a completely different event. Curious to see if my participants would react the same way I did, I threw out that same controversial question. I wasn't surprised to find identical results. First came the shock and hesitation, and then came the inspiration and positive buzz. This might be one of the most important and complicated life lessons I've ever learned. So what was the shockingly controversial question? I'll get to that. First, though, I want to focus on how we are unknowingly trained by society to put ourselves last and consider ourselves unworthy at all times. It's not stylish to hold your head up high and walk around with bounce in your step. If you walk in public looking like Mickey Mouse for seemingly no reason, you run the risk of being labeled a lunatic. And we can't have that, can we? It's far more socially acceptable to walk with your head down and your eyes focused on anything but the people around you. You're expected to put your hands in your pockets and look slightly bored or angry about something. Have your headphones on, even if there's no music playing. And this is how we stay invisible, and invisible is safe. If I'm not invisible, someone might see me, and if I'm seen, I might be judged. I'm not sure I can handle that. But you know what? Being invisible all the time causes us more harm than we may realize. Not only is it super lonely, but you lose sight of your true self. You may not remember, but there was a time when you loved yourself. Somewhere along the way, probably your teenage years, you became afraid of showing your true self and you began to hide it from the world. And that eventually led to some depression and identity issues. And inevitably, you lost your joy. And you called it becoming a grown-up. And that brings me to that controversial icebreaker question I mentioned. Here's what the question was. What is your favorite thing about yourself? Yep, there it is. I was about to reveal to a small group of peers that I actually like myself. So uncool. What if the thing I liked about myself was something I've been hiding from the public, like singing in my car? Or worse, what if the thing I liked about myself was something that secretly drove others insane? Was it really okay to stand in front of an audience and talk about how awesome I think I am? It was the weirdest thing, though. Even though I picked a nice, safe, favorite thing to share, my sense of humor, it turned out one thing wasn't enough. It turned out there were actually a lot of things that I loved about myself, and I'd never been given the opportunity to really think about them and enjoy them. I think I'm actually quite spectacular. And you know what? So are you. So JOYkwondo exercise number 2 is to write an essay detailing, you guessed it, the things you love about yourself. Start with an opening paragraph that plainly lists your 3 favorite things about yourself. In those paragraphs, you'll describe why you love those things, and also write about a time when you were able to really show those favorite things off. Like, really enjoy yourself in this essay. And in the final paragraph, recap your main points and give some reflection on how this exercise made you feel. I dare you to share your essay with someone or even post it somewhere for the public to see. But if that's too much for you, though, then at least keep the essay for yourself and read it often. Trust me, it'll do wonders for your self-esteem and your general attitude towards yourself. And when you love yourself, you walk with so much more authority and confidence. When you have things you like about yourself, you'll begin to confidently show those things off more. And others around you will consequently fall in love with you as well. And your confidence will draw people in and lift people up. Everyone wins.